Let's do this first before we get into SmackDown Live. I want to say something about Raw. There was only one thing I liked on Raw, and that was Triple H's segment and making fun of Batista and even doing a little meme of the Spice Girls. You can want to be my lover bit. I mean, that was it. Everything else on Raw sucked. Look, you got Finn Balor facing, if I remember correctly, he went up against the Singh brothers, Lio Rush, now I believe I finally remember his name, and Jinder Mahal. Just so he can face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, which he's not supposed to because there's no more rematch clause. Now I'm sure people are going to say, well, he didn't get a rematch clause, did he? Who was supposed to be next in line for Bobby Lashley if it isn't Finn Balor? Wasn't there someone else that's supposed to be going up against Bobby? No one. How come it isn't, what? Dean Ambrose. I know he's leaving, but you could have said Dean Ambrose. What about Seth Rollins? Well, I know Seth Rollins is working with Brock Lesnar. What about Apollo Crews? What about Dash or Dawson? What about, guess who? You could say something about a Drew McIntyre. What about a Dolph Ziggler? I don't care. You got a ton of people on the roster. Hell, you could have given this to Titus O'Neil, who last year had the greatest meme in history in the greatest Royal Rumble, almost busting his head open, sliding under the freaking ring. Anyone but Finn Balor. Nope. What was it? Meet the challenge or time challenge, whatever. I forgot what it was. For the women. Garbage. The guys from Saturday Night Live having a feud with Braun Strowman, who's supposed to be here at the top. And these guys are here for the jobbers. He's here. And now, at the Memorial Battle Royal, that means Braun Strowman's going into the Memorial Battle Royal, going to be meeting up with these two guys, meaning absolutely nothing. This show was garbage. Now, quick as that is done, let's move on to SmackDown Live. And oh my gosh. I already know what the title is. Oh, we got our wish. And I'll probably repeat this when I reach that point. But this show, I want to say this. For the end of the show was dramatic. There was some stuff that pissed me off so bad. So bad. And many people are going to say, oh, don't get mad about that. We knew it was going to happen. It doesn't matter. It still pissed me off. Opening of the show. No, actually forget about the opening of the show. Let's bypass this. We have a short interview with Becky Lynch talking about what happened on Raw with the Meet the Time Challenge. The Meet the Challenge match, whatever it was. I keep forgetting what it was. Beat the Clock Challenge. Sorry, there you go. Beat the Clock Challenge. I don't know if I'll put something very beginning saying he'll remember. Maybe I might. But it was stupid. Then here's what made it even more dumber than Raw. You got Becky Lynch talking, saying that pretty much Charlotte Flair shouldn't even be in the match. She's an afterthought. She just gets in. And instead of her finishing up that interview and waiting 5 or 10 minutes, at least the minimum of 10 minutes, you have Charlotte come straight out with a freaking mic and say, I'm an afterthought. I'm a third wheel. Oh, I'll show you. I know that we got a gauntlet match at the end of the show. I understand that. But you could have waited 5 or 10 minutes for it. Not a few seconds. It showed that was so badly scripted that they didn't even give Becky a chance to even finish it. Because you got Becky in the back. And then you got Charlotte, who clearly was near the gorilla position. And that just looked damn stupid. You couldn't even wait 2 minutes. 2 freaking minutes. And have Charlotte be angry in the gorilla position before you sent her out. That was just garbage. Then, here's another thing. And I don't care if anybody says you're wrong. The Asuka versus Charlotte match for the SmackDown Women's Championship was the most stupidest thing you could have done. You know why? I'll tell you why. And it's not the point I'm talking about unifying both women's titles. I know that was going to happen. I knew that was going to be done because when it comes down to it, the WWE wants to unify the titles so they got Ronda Rousey on Raw and SmackDown because USA doesn't want to share, or Fox doesn't want to share with USA, and USA doesn't want to share with Fox. They unify the titles, both of them going to say, oh shit, we got no choice but to work together. Because as long as they have the titles on both brands, they always have what they want, but it makes it too difficult for the WWE to book everything for their pay-per-views and their shows or whatever. By unifying the titles, it's much more easier for them, and that's where they're going to do it. But here's the thing. This didn't need to happen now. This didn't need to happen to Asuka. I want to make this really clear, and I know a lot of people think Charlotte is one of the best wrestlers. She is not. When it came to that WrestleMania match with Asuka, guess who carried that match? It was not Charlotte. It was Asuka who carried that match because she was a more seasoned veteran than Charlotte. I don't care what anyone says. Charlotte is not the be-all, end-all of wrestlers. You got Sasha Banks, who's better than Charlotte. You clearly have Tessa Blanchard that's better than Charlotte, who's actually better than Sasha Banks. And I like Sasha Banks a bit more than Tessa Blanchard. Not because Tessa is a butterface like most people would say. It's just that when it comes down to it, Sasha has better promo skills than a Tessa Blanchard at this time. But I gotta say this, Tessa has been doing a lot more better with her promos, and her in-ring work is on par with Sasha Banks. Both of them are adaptive wrestlers. So I commend them both. But I like Sasha better than Tessa because she speaks better. She has a better persona. She just has a better attitude that I can deal with as a heel. Doesn't mean that Tessa is bad. She's actually gotten quite good in the last 3 to 4 months. No, 4 to 5 months. I take that back. 4 to 5 months, she's actually gotten good. In the last 2 months, she's actually gotten quite good. So I give her this. But Charlotte's not even close to either one of them. And then you get this match, where again, Asuka had to carry the match. Asuka carried that match knowing full well, and understand this, knowing full well, 1, she wasn't even being given a chance to be on TV. 2, when she was on TV, she had to job to... I like Mandy Rose, but when it comes down to it, Asuka should be facing better quality wrestlers than Mandy. And worse yet, she's not seen on TV. She's not seen other than dealing with Mandy. And then people have been rumoring she's going to be dropping the title to Lacey Evans at WrestleMania. Now jobs here after weeks of being screwed over by Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and WWE management. She drops the damn title here to a Charlotte Flair, who now has, understand this isn't her first title run. How many years has Charlotte been on the main roster? Say about 4 years, nearing 5. Say about 2015 or 2000 and, 15 or 14 or 15 at least? No, 15 or 16. So she's been there 3 to 4 years already. And now she has 8 title reigns, more than any woman. And what has she accomplished? Nothing. She beat Asuka at WrestleMania. What did it do for Charlotte? Nothing. What did it do to Asuka? It buried her. So now you have an 8th title reign with a Charlotte Flair, which means 100% nothing. Nothing. I see nothing with Charlotte. And understand this. If anyone thinks that Becky may win easily at WrestleMania, I really challenge you to think of this. You just gave Charlotte an 8th title reign. You know Ronda Rousey is leaving the company for maybe up to a year and a half to have a child with her husband. Do you actually think they're going to let Becky win it? Think about it for a minute. They destroyed Becky Lynch's persona by making her job to Triple H, to Stephanie McMahon, and to Vince McMahon by telling her to say sorry. She said sorry. She basically got suspended, and instead of coming back to Raw every single time fighting, the only time she ever came back to Raw that meant anything, or Smackdown actually, I take that back, is on a house show where she hurt her knee, and then is considered a underdog when she shouldn't be. She's supposed to be a badass, and now she's supposed to be an underdog who's injured. You tell me that you really think Becky Lynch is going to win. I'm just saying. The person I feel sorry for was Asuka. I would have liked to see Asuka win and then go to WrestleMania facing Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. Even if she hasn't been built better, at least I would believe Asuka has a better chance against Ronda Rousey than actually Charlotte, because Asuka is a Japanese wrestler who knows Japanese martial arts in her wrestling. That would have been a real interesting dynamic. A strong style Japanese wrestler against a judo wrestler, because Ronda Rousey does judo. Think about it for a minute. That would have been a great match. Nope. Now, okay, the next match is AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle. Now, AJ did a nice bit talking about Kurt. He did. He pretty much said it was an honor to be the last match he's going to have on SmackDown Live. And he did say that even though Kurt laid the foundation for SmackDown Live, he said that he is the one that made this place mean something. This is the house that AJ Styles built. And he made it very respectful. That's the truth. Now, the match itself was incredibly short. It wasn't really meant to be a match. This was meant to get over AJ Styles and Randy Orton's match. Now, I'm not going to lie about this. I haven't said anything about what's going on with Kurt much, other than what's going on with Baron Corbin. Mostly due to the fact I didn't want to see anything with Baron Corbin. But something just came across my mind when I saw that attack of Randy Orton on AJ Styles when he had Kurt Angle in the, what was it? He had him in the calf crusher. Then AJ managed to get put into the ankle lock. Then he managed to get out of that. And then Randy Orton managed to attack AJ and basically give him an RKO. Pretty much he did nail him. But then Kurt nailed Randy Orton. Now, I know this won't happen, but you know what I'd rather see? Than a Baron Corbin versus... I don't want to see Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle in the ring. I just don't. Actually, I do hate Baron Corbin now because they promoted him so badly. He's actually a good talent. And they just buried him. But in this situation with Kurt Angle, it's even worse. I would rather see Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Kurt Angle in a triple threat. And I know people wouldn't want to see that. But honestly, I would. Because I'd rather see Kurt Angle with two really good wrestlers who actually barely tasted one another. And they used this to really solidify their legacies by one of them pinning Kurt Angle during that match in WrestleMania, than actually pinning each other. Because then you could have something going into SummerSlam. But that's just me. You guys tell me below if you would actually want something like that. Personally, that's what I would like. Because I don't want to see Kurt Angle go up against Baron Corbin at WrestleMania. But I won't say that I don't like the feud that's going on between Randy Orton and AJ. I actually am enjoying it. And I knew that promo segment would be really good. Sorry I didn't say anything about it, but I forgot. Let's move on to... There wasn't that much there. Miz and his segment. And then this beatdown. And then destroying of not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but 9 guys. I'll say this for The Miz. He's really putting his feelings into this role. He's trying to simply say, I am the best this company has. I can play a heel. I can play a face. I know I'm way better as a heel. But when I really turn it on, I can be a very convincing face. And in this situation, he hasn't changed my mind. I'd rather see him as a heel. But in many cases, many people take him as a face. Many people. They're fine with him as a face. They don't think he's the greatest, but he's a damn good face. And he pretty much makes it clear, I can't stand what they did to my dad. I can't stand them. I can't stand what Shane did to my dad. You see I'm so angry about Asuka. I'm saying them. And I'm going to make him pay with a stipulation. Falls count anywhere. I want it. Shane, give it to me. And guess what? Shane comes out as a face. I'm sorry. Even though he's playing a heel, Shane is actually a face in this situation. He is. Because we know The Miz tried to use him. And did try to use him. And use him to get the best in the world title, which he couldn't get. And then he wanted him to be a tag team champion, which he got. And then he changed. He used Shane, so Shane has the right to be angry. Being a heel, I don't buy it. Even though he called out roughly about 6 or 7 different guys from the back as security and Sanity, at least members of Sanity, except for Eli. I don't think Eric Young was there. I don't think EY was there. So it was the other 2 guys of Sanity, along with Shelton Benjamin and security, and pretty much Shane talked pretty well, talking, I'm going to enjoy destroying you, and I just love treating your father so bad. I just love how I replayed it over and over again on my phone, how much I just love seeing your basically potato-faced dad terrified of me. And you know what? He made a stupid mistake when he was younger. You know what it was? Giving life to you with that woman he calls a wife. He didn't say it like that, but that's what he implied, and that's when The Miz came out and basically tried to beat down everyone, got beat up himself, then got back up and beat up roughly about 9 guys, and Shane goes to the back. I don't really care about this feud. I commend them for trying to really make it something, and I'm not saying they haven't done a decent job. Shane's doing his part, trying to make himself a heel, which many people do believe pretty well. Miz is doing pretty well as a face. I don't care about it. I don't buy it. But he is doing a decent and good job as a face. But to be honest, I don't care about the feud. Because I know a better feud would have happened between Miz as a heel and Daniel Bryan as a face, what people truly wanted last year. Coming in 2 weeks, WrestleMania, that's what they wanted. Now, the final match of the night. We opened the show with New Day coming out saying, you know what, we love what we do, but we're thinking about quitting. Because the way things are, the way they treated Kofi, and Kofi is the most positive of all 3 of us. He exudes as, and I'll say this, Xavier Woods talked very well. Biggie Langston talked very well. He's the one that said that Kofi exudes positivity, if I'm even pronouncing it properly. I'm bad with words. But they really try to make their point that they're tired of it, but they're respectful to the business. And they asked Mr. McMahon to come out and explain the reason why he's doing this, so they can decide if they want to quit or not. Vince comes out, and before he can even open his mouth, Daniel Bryan comes out and say, Vince, don't do it. Let these guys quit. They're B+ players. Kofi Kingston's a B+ player. You can get guys from NXT, bring them up, and call them the Saturday Morning Bunch. I didn't think he would know anything about that, because from what if I remember, Bryan Danielson said in one interview, he never watched television as a kid. So how would he know anything about the Saturday morning TV and cartoons? Someone had to tell him that. They had to be scripted. Anyway, Vince said, Kofi, you're a B+ player. That's what you are. But your cohorts there, are they B+ players as tag team? I'll give you this. If they do a tag team gauntlet match and win it, you're in at WrestleMania. But you're barred from being there. He didn't say it directly, but later they did say it. I think he should have said that. The only thing he said was, your chance to go to WrestleMania is gone. Go in the back and get a soda. I thought that was funny. He made it very clear. You know, when you're one of my minions, go in the back and get a soda. I don't want to see you. Get away. That's the way it looked. So, when it came down to the last match of the night, you got Xavier Woods and Biggie Langston having to go up against 5 guys. No, 5 tag teams, not 5 guys. 5 tag teams. This is what we got. 5 tag teams. The Good Brothers of Anderson and Gallows faced them first, and it didn't even last 3 minutes. I think it lasted 2.5. That was a quick match to get it over with. Then you had Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. I had to look at my notes. I don't want to forget what. I'll say that was a bit longer than the other one. It was roughly about maybe 8 to 10 minutes long. It felt a little forced, like they were rushing it. That's how it felt. It felt like Rusev and Nakamura had to be rushed in this situation because they wanted to make it to 10 o'clock with everything they wanted. And even though it did feel forced, they did get a good, decent match out of it. And in the end, New Day wins again. Then you got them going up against the Bar, which was the longer match, I felt. Maybe about 12 minutes. And at the end of it, I'll say this, that the Bar really tried to put them over. They really tried. They tried hard to put them over. But I don't think Xavier Woods or Biggie Langston was used to doing long matches like that. Particularly that normally it's either Kofi and Xavier Woods or Kofi with Biggie Langston. They do tag team periodically, but they don't always tag team every single time. And in this case, these two are not great when it comes to stamina. So you could see them both getting a bit tired. But you know what? They did do a good match here. And in the end, they won. And guess what? Biggie Langston gets put through a table. Once the Bar gets beaten, they got mad. So the next, we thought was the last team. And this was the Usos. The Usos come out. Now, I didn't know how to feel about this. I'm honest. I really didn't know how to feel about the Usos going up against New Day in this situation. They're the tag team champions. They should not need to job. They don't need to lose and go into WrestleMania. Because they got to do something in WrestleMania unless they're not doing anything. So what happened was the best case scenario. I'm sure a lot of people say that was garbage. That was stupid. No, it wasn't. Seeing the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and I believe it was Jay who first spoke. He said, New Day, Usos have gone to war. You already got our respect. You got the respect in the back. And the person who deserves more than any to go to WrestleMania for the WWE Championship is Kofi Kingston. And pretty much they both said, not in tandem, good luck to you, brother. We forfeit. They walk away. They forfeit their match. They give up the match. That really helped this entire situation. Because since they weren't trying to make Kofi get into WrestleMania, having the rest of New Day do it actually does help a lot to the situation. Seeing that New Day won this match by forfeit and it didn't have to make the tag team champions jump like what happened with Dash and Dawson on Raw compared to Ricochet and Aleister Black, where they're legitimately, and I'm saying this for Raw, Dash and Dawson, the guys who came up from NXT, who are the most beloved tag team they ever created, has been so badly treated. And they wanted to leave the company legitimately and did not get the option to leave is a travesty. They should have just let them break their contracts and let them leave. Or better yet, they should have just went home. Do a Neville. Don't come back. They don't work. They don't make no money. They didn't need to stay there because they're being treated badly. But anyway, when it came down to it, it was Daniel Bryan and his cohort, Eric Rowan, or Eric. They beat the crap out of New Day, but in the end, New Day wins. And now, throughout this entire match of now 5 tag teams counting New Day, the crowd was highly invested. They were cheering most of the time. They were booing when they needed to boo. They cheered when they needed to cheer. And when it was all over, they erupted once they knew Kofi Kingston was going to WrestleMania. We got our wish. Kofi Kingston's going to WrestleMania. The entire locker room, basically, while this was going on, I forgot to say that Kofi was in the back with most of the locker room watching on the big screen, seeing how New Day was going to try and win the entire match. And this was the best case scenario for Smackdown Live, the way they did it. And I can say this. Am I happy Kofi's going to WrestleMania? Yes, I am. But do I believe Kofi's going to win at WrestleMania? Honestly, no. But this isn't the point. This will be the first time Kofi Kingston has ever gone to WrestleMania in a very high-profile match because of a horrible accident to Mustafa Ali, or should I say Ali now, which is dumb. He should have said Mustafa Ali. He gets this opportunity that so many people have wanted for so many years for him. And it doesn't make a difference, and I'm not being disrespectful to any of my subscribers who really doesn't care about Kofi. Really. This is the truth. When it comes down to it, you guys hating Kofi Kingston because he gets this option, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying your feelings don't matter, but it doesn't matter. This is the first time in a long while that the WWE has listened to their fans. Kofi winning at WrestleMania is not even a point now. Personally, I would like him to win, but I know for a good possibility he will not win and Daniel Bryan will. But it's not the point. The point is, this time around, the fans have been listened to when they have not listened about Roman Reigns and how they're supposed to present him. The guy had cancer, went away, came back, and they had the opportunity when he came back to treat him properly. And he's going back to the same way he was. Joseph Ottawahi, the real guy who plays Roman Reigns, is loved by the fans. But when it comes to his character, Roman Reigns, there's a lot of people who hate him now. Even going to hate him worse because he came back from cancer. And instead of the company truly listening to the fans and doing this correctly, they're going to push him the same way they did before. And that's so sad. But here, we get what we want. We get Kofi going to WrestleMania and changing how things were back in 2009 into 2010. Legitimately, nearly 10 years ago, Kofi's push was stopped. Abruptly stopped. And if I remember correctly, he went off the TV for at least a month or so after he lost at Elimination Chamber. No, after he got beaten up in Elimination Chamber. So this is something so many people wanted for so long. Finally, someone listened. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to get what they want, him winning, but still, they got what they wanted. We got a wish. You guys have a good day. Have a good night.